I feel like there's so much controversy around this film for so many different reasons, but I like a musical, and I like a musical on the big screen. And so here's my review of West Side Story. Welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Katrina and I make bookish content here on this channel every week, and then movie reviews just like this one here at the weekend. I will leave my movie reviews playlist linked up above. They are always spoiler free, and there should be something in there if you are looking for something to watch this weekend. Yes, I went to see the new West Side Story. In preparation for this, I also went to see West Side Story on the big screen again roughly 2 weeks ago. So I had a sort of like for like comparison. I have only ever seen West Side Story on the big screen. The first time I ever saw it was about 3 years ago now, when I went to see it at the cinema. Wasn't overly impressed. I definitely think that the original benefited from a second watching for me, but then all these classical musicals, you kind of like classic musicals, I feel like you get more from them the more you watch them. I mean, I'm somebody that just watched Grease back to back to back to back, and I could sit down and watch Hairspray or Cry Baby or Mamma Mia just a million times over. Chicago, so many times I watched Chicago back to back in the theatre as well as on the DVD and in the cinema. But anyway, so watch the original in preparation. I mean, Rita Moreno is just fabulous. I loved watching her documentary. I hear it's on Netflix here, so that's exciting because I went and saw that in the cinema May, June time. I do have a review of it on my channel. I will try and find it and link it. And so I was excited to find out that she was not only in the new West Side Story, but she's also a producer. And so overall, I really enjoyed the film. I could happily go and watch it again. It's a very similar length to the original film, but for me, that it just felt like a little bit more snappy. They have played around with a couple of the songs and settings, so there are some changes. So if you are a fan of the classic musical and you don't want them to change a thing, then you might not like a couple of these changes. But I think that they gave it a little bit of a refresher, and it also meant that it wasn't just a like for like copy of the original movie. It was trying to do something different, and if it's a like for like copy, you're not going to sit there and just be like, okay, I'm just watching the same thing but with different people here aside from Rita Moreno. But yeah, so they've moved the placement of the song Cool, and they've also sort of made the New York setting come to life a lot more. So obviously when we see them in New York in the original West Side Story, we know it's New York, we know we're on the West Side, but there's a lot more kind of location placement and sort of motivation behind where the characters are and why they're there. And I really like that we established that straight away. That additional sort of layer of setting, it's West Side Story. Let's have the West Side in there. Let's have the location in there. I just think just adds an extra depth to the film. And the location itself is so beautifully shot. The cinematography is just fantastic. The sort of visual effect is really stunning, and I saw it on the Dolby screen so I could have the biggest screen possible and the best sound possible. And I'm really pleased that I did that, because this is definitely something that does benefit from being on the big screen. I think if you're watching this on a computer, phone, tablet, or even TV, I think that some of that depth and some of that kind of layered sound, where you've got things happening over here and things happening over there, as well as the things happening directly in front of you, I think that was so important to see on the big screen, and it made the film so much more tangible. You could almost kind of like smell and taste things as well as see and hear things. And there's the original and this one, there's a lot of sort of layers of dirt, and there's kind of dust and salt and water. And again, you get a real feel for that because of the depth of colour and just the depth of the image overall. And so I really enjoyed what they'd done with that. liked the new casting. I love the fact that we have Rita Moreno playing this new character, who is Doc from the original Doc's Pharmacy. Doc's Pharmacy plays a pivotal role in both films, and she is his wife. And I like the fact that we've sort of replaced the Doc character with this matriarch, and she's got the extra motivation of the fact that she is Puerto Rican, but she is kind of on the side of the Jets. She's part of their neighborhood, and so it provides, this new character provides a bit of a kind of like linchpin to the story, and so I loved what she was doing. We also have a song that has been given to her that was previously a couple of other characters' songs. I'm not going to spoil that one for you, but I really like that choice as well. You may not like that choice. It's definitely a change. It's quite a big change, but I like the fact that she had that song. I think if you've seen one of the extended trailers, it's quite obvious which one it is because it shows her singing that one. But if you haven't, not going to spoil it for you. But I really, really loved her character. There is a moment where the actress playing Anita has to do sort of Anita's pivotal scene in front of Rita Moreno, and I just think that must have been really intimidating, and it must have just added to the sort of fear factor of that requirement of the scene. So, you know, you've got your acting, but you're actually acting in front of the person that made this scene famous and won an Oscar for their acting in this scene, and it just must add an extra layer of like pulsing adrenaline. I thought that must have been just really intimidating. I said I wasn't going to mention Ansel Elgort at all, but I thought he was really wooden. I like the fact that you can kind of clearly see that he's singing throughout the film, but that should not be my takeaway of a main character actor in a film. Oh, I like that you can see that he's singing. No. I just thought he was really, really wooden. Everyone else on the screen is so vivid and so vibrant and just so passionate. And then you've just got this like one-dimensional, like flat character who cries occasionally. I was really quite disappointed despite everything else that we're not going to talk about. I thought it was very, very wooden on the screen. And I thought it was a shame because then the characters... between Tony and Maria, the scenes between Tony and Maria where they're interacting, they could have just been so much more, and I felt like she was having to carry them. I thought that everyone else was just cast so superbly. There was so much passion in what they were doing. The screen just came to life. I loved the massive ensemble scenes. I think the singing and the dancing was fantastic, and this is coming from me who is not a fan of Sondheim at all, but I just thought that again, the setting, the fact that we've really built up this setting and it's shot so beautifully and the sets are constructed so well. I think that really helped. But those massive ensemble scenes just reminded me of In the Heights, and that's such a like feel good film for me. And just seeing people dancing in the streets and fabulous. The guy playing Riff just kept reminding me of John Mulaney. I kept expecting him to come out with something that was very John Mulaney, which was a little bit different, but I feel like made me sort of sympathise with the character even more and sympathise with Riff's story arc. I cried a couple of times. I loved the kind of upbeat songs, and I thought that the less upbeat songs were doing really well. But the big takeaway for me was that we had the West Side of West Side Story became its own character and became a more pivotal part of it. I think that the original was all about, you know, the big numbers and the people on the screen, whereas the setting was more of a back took a back seat, that's the word, but the setting in this one is just so much more vivid. So I really enjoyed it. I would happily go and see it again. Should you spend your cinema going money to go and see this one, if you can do this as well as, you know, saving your pennies for Spider-Man. I mean, I had my Spider-Man tickets before I had my West Side Story tickets, so it wasn't a problem for me. yes, I think it should be seen on the big screen. I think that it's worth it for seeing that depth of colour and that vivid imagery and those big numbers on the big screen is just fantastic. And then you will get a feel for that extra character of New York, West Side, and why they're all there. I think it does become its own character and it becomes so much more pivotal. And I really, really like the cinematography. I like the sound, and it had an impact. And so I think you should see this on the big screen if you can do. If Spider-Man doesn't take away all of the showings, and I've got nothing against Spider-Man, by the time you're watching this, my review of that one will probably already be up, so I will link it in the end screen for you. Make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on future movie review videos. I do have some more plans to go to the cinema. Now it's Christmas holidays. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and as always, let me know in comments if there is a particular movie you would like me to go to the cinema or stream on Netflix and review for you here next week, the week after. My top 10 movies of the year will be coming your way very soon as well, so keep an eye out for those. And yes, I will see you with my bookish content in the week. Thanks for watching.